In the episode's beginning, we revisit events from 3 years ago. Ships approach an island where powerful explosions are happening. Navy soldiers explain that their weapons are ineffective against monstrous creatures on the island, leaving everything to the hunters. Next, we witness a hunter fleeing from ant monsters, joining his party. Despite their efforts, the group faces a relentless attack from a swarm of ant monsters. None of the hunters can hold their ground. A magician warns that their ranks aren't sufficient to defeat the monsters. Just then, S-rank hunters arrive, saving them. The relieved hunters realize that their lives are now safe. Minobi heals the injured hunters, and Fuki and Shirakawa successfully defeat the ant monsters. A leader ant emerges, but Fuki and Shirakawa, with their enhanced powers, easily defeat it. Subsequently, a group of white ant monsters attacks. Shirakawa powers up, and Fuki uses a large magic spell to swiftly defeat the entire swarm. Later, we witness another S-rank hunter named Mogami battling ant monsters in the city alongside other hunters. He effortlessly defeats low-level ants with his fire magic and continues to fight against the stronger white ants with the rest of the hunters. The narrative then shifts to 10 years ago when a gate connecting this world to another opened, releasing dangerous monsters immune to ordinary weapons. People with awakened powers, known as hunters, combat these monsters. Hunters are ranked from S to E, and once a person's power is awakened, it cannot be reawakened. The story then jumps to the present, where a construction site is observed. A man enjoys coffee, and the coffee seller wishes him good luck for his raid. The man's old friend Kuga appears, mentioning that he left the area to avoid becoming a hunter. Kuga reveals that he is now married, and they are expecting their second child. The man, identified as Kuga, contemplates earning money through hunting again, acknowledging that his skills have weakened over time. Shun then arrives, and Mishima thanks him for coming. Everyone is happy to see Shun. Kuga asks Mishima if Shun is the strongest hunter here, to which Mishima replies that Shun's nickname is the world's weakest. He humorously adds that Shun is so weak that even in the easiest E-rank dungeon, he gets injured. Kuga is surprised and asks if this is true. Mishima confirms it, saying that Shun is the weakest here. He jokes that if Shun is present, it means they only need to raid an easy dungeon. Shun overhears their conversation and goes to get coffee. Unfortunately, his luck is so bad that the coffee runs out, and he doesn't get any. Then, a girl named Mizuki arrives and asks Shun why he became injured again. Shun explains that it happened while hunting. Mizuki inquires about the details, and Shun recounts an incident in an E-rank dungeon. He was the only hunter that got hurt in that raid, because others were high-ranked hunters, so they didn't bring a healer. Mizuki suggests that they should have taken a healer with them despite the high-rank hunters. Shun admits he is weak, and Mizuki acknowledges that it always happens to him. Despite this, they all get ready to enter the gate. Mabuchi, the highest-ranked hunter in the group, becomes the leader of the raid party. Mishima advises Shun not to get injured again. Shun, determined to give his best, leads the way into the gate with everyone. Later, we see the Hunters Guild, where Akira asks the chairman about the government meeting. The chairman explains that they need dungeon supplies and we sell the magical crystals obtained from monsters to the government. The government wants to use these crystals, stones, and magical ores for efficient and environmentally friendly power generation. The scene shifts to the dungeon, where Shun is injured again, and Mizuki is healing him. She questions why he continues hunting. Shun thinks about the real reason but decides not to reveal it, telling Mizuki that he hunts for fun to avoid boredom. Mizuki asks if he has any deeper reason, and Shun hesitates, contemplating his true motive. In the meantime, the rest of the party easily defeats monsters using fire magic and swords, and their raid is about to conclude. Suddenly, a hunter informs the group that they've found another dungeon entrance. Everyone looks at the entrance, and the leader, Mabuchi, identifies it as a double lair, indicating that it seems authentic. He then uses his fire magic to hit the gate and explains that the dungeon gate remains open until someone defeats the boss inside. Since the gate is still open, it means the boss of this double lair is inside, presenting an opportunity to earn money. Mabuchi suggests that in such situations, they should inform the Hunters Guild, but if other hunters arrive, they might earn less money. Therefore, they need to go inside and defeat the boss. The group votes on whether to enter the entrance or not, and the final vote depends on Shun. He thinks about his financial struggles, his sister's college fees, and his sick mother's medical expenses. Considering these factors, he reluctantly votes yes to go inside. The scene shifts to the Hunters Guild, where new hunters are checking their ranks by placing their hands on a device. The S-rank hunter, Mogami, instructs his employee to hire new B and C-rank hunters. On the road, some thieves steal a girl's purse, but S-rank hunter Shizuku Kosuke retrieves it from them and gives it back. Back at the dungeon, the group enters the entrance. After a while, a hunter realizes they might be going too deep. Another hunter remarks that they've been walking for about 40 minutes, and after defeating the boss, the entrance closes within an hour. The scene changes again, and Shun apologizes to Mizuki for his vote leading them inside the entrance. Mizuki scolds him, pointing out that he barely survived earlier, and she had a hard time healing him. Despite this, Shun realizes that it's because of Mizuki that he's still alive, as she is a B-rank healer. He apologizes and agrees to treat her to lunch. As they approach a large door, identified as the boss room, all the hunters are surprised as they've never seen such a massive door. The Hunters Guild chairman advises new hunters about the dangers of their job and the need to stay vigilant, no matter how strong they are or how weak the monsters they face. Upon entering the boss room, the lights are on, and they see enormous statues. The surreal environment makes it hard for anyone to believe that such a place could exist inside a dungeon. Shun notices that the statues are peculiar, with everyone holding something in their hands, and he senses that someone might be watching them. Then everyone sees the largest statue in front, appearing as the boss. Some hunters express disbelief, stating that nothing here looks like monsters. Suddenly, a hunter notices a magic seal and informs their leader. The leader reads the seal, revealing 3 commands: worship the Lord, praise the Lord, and prove your faith. Mizuki observes the eye of the largest statue moving, but Shun dismisses it as an illusion. However, an odd feeling creeps over him. Mabuchi reads the last lines of the seal, stating that those who don't follow these commands won't leave the temple alive. The door to the room closes abruptly, frightening everyone. A hunter suggests they should not have come here, and he decides to leave. Mabuchi warns him not to touch the door. As soon as the hunter touches the door, a statue moves and swiftly kills him with its weapon. Witnessing this, everyone becomes terrified. The largest boss statue starts to move too. Frightened, they question if they have to fight all these statues. The hunter who was killed had a D rank, and Shun, with his E rank, becomes nervous. Shun mentions that this is a D rank dungeon, and monsters in this dungeon shouldn't be able to defeat a D rank hunter in just one hit. Mabuchi, also scared, suggests that if all statues can move, it means the biggest one might move too. He nervously looks toward the large statue, and suddenly, it starts moving its eyes. Shun watches it with fear in his eyes. Then, we see Shun's memories. In his first raid, Shun got separated from his party and got lost. Then, he was attacked by an E-rank monster on his back and ended up in the hospital for weeks. Once, he got stuck in a dungeon and was starving. He faced numerous challenges even in low-rank dungeons. While other hunters traded magical stones for new equipment, Shun always came back injured from low-rank dungeons. People started making fun of him, calling him the weakest hunter. Yet, he continued his job, facing danger all the time, while keeping an eye on his surroundings. Now, in the present, the large statue uses magic like a laser beam from its eyes. Shun immediately tells Mizuki to duck, trying to save them. The laser magic is so powerful that it kills some hunters instantly, while others narrowly escape. Mabuchi loudly warns everyone not to move from their positions, threatening that the large statue will attack them if they do. Mizuki is particularly scared and keeps her eyes closed. Shun, noticing Mabuchi's injured hand, assists him in stopping the bleeding. Mabuchi then informs Shun about the temple's 3 commands, stating that failure to follow them will result in death. Later, we see Shun's younger sister who is questioned about his brother from her friend about his hunter skills. The scene changes again, and we find ourselves in a dungeon. A hunter says, "I can't die like this, I finally joined a big guild." Then, he gets ready to escape from there. Shun advises him not to move, but the hunter doesn't listen. He trusts his speed and confidently tries to jump out of the gate. However, as he jumps, he is unable to dodge the attack from a large statue and gets hit. Shun then understands that the guard statue attacks anyone who goes near the door, while the larger one uses laser beams on those who move from their positions. He understands that there are specific rules or commands in the room that everyone must follow to survive. As everyone bows in front of the statue, it changes its expression and starts laughing, frightening everyone. Kuga explains to Mishima that the statue is no longer attacking them, indicating that their lives are now safe. Shun instructs everyone to stay in their places, but the statue begins to move, causing fear among the group. Mabuchi asks Shun if he has a plan to survive this situation, and Shun reveals the first command was to worship the statue, and the second is to praise it. Shun suggests praising the statue might save them. A hunter claims he was part of a church, making it easy for him to praise the statue. However, Shun realizes the hunter is actually praying to a different god, and the statue crushes him with its feet. Shocked, everyone starts running away from the statue. Shun tells Mizuki to stay with him, while others scatter. The scene shifts to Kuga, who reflects on his decision to become a hunter despite his wife's warning. He wanted to earn money for his children. While standing still, a statue attacks Kuga from behind, leading to his death. The remaining group becomes anxious, and Shun observes the various weapons each person possesses. He emphasizes the challenge of escaping when guards attack whenever someone approaches. Shun suggests that even those with instruments might attack when approached. Shun realizes that statues with instruments won't attack, so he directs everyone towards the statues with instruments. When they reach these statues, the instruments start playing, and the statues refrain from attacking. Mishima, sitting in front of an instrument-wielding statue, begins playing but breaks down in tears as he mourns the loss of his friend Kuga. Shun approaches an instrument-wielding statue with Mizuki, but this statue doesn't play its instrument because it requires only one people but they are 2 persons. Suddenly, a large statue attacks them. Shun leaves Mizuki with the instrument statue and moves towards another statue. Mabuchi warns Shun that this statue doesn't have a musical instrument but a shield. The statue attacks Shun, causing him injury, but he manages to limp towards another statue. He prays to God to help him reach the musical instrument statue. Finally, Shun reaches the musical instrument statue, and it starts playing a song. Other statues with musical instruments also join in, fulfilling the second command, causing the statues to stop attacking. Mizuki rushes to Shun, and shocked to see that his one leg has been cut. Mizuki quickly tends to Shun's injured leg, insisting he stay calm. Shun explains to Mizuki that healing the leg now is impossible. Mizuki, determined, tells Shun to be quiet and sit down. Using her magical powers, Mizuki heals Shun's leg, but the effort causes her nose to bleed. The remaining hunters are concerned about Mizuki's well-being, but they are relieved that Shun is still alive. Then Mabuchi acknowledges the dire situation, stating that only 6 people remain, and 2 are severely injured. Mishima expresses sympathy for Mabuchi's lost hand, blaming him as the one who brought them there. Mabuchi accepts responsibility, acknowledging that he will face consequences when they leave. Suddenly, the large statue starts moving again, causing anxiety among the hunters. The statue signals with its hand, and two stones emerge from the ground, leaving everyone puzzled. Mabuchi asks Shun about this, and Shun explains that these stones are an altar. Shun reveals that in ancient times, living beings were sacrificed on this altar as an offering to the god. Shun adds that this is the third command, proving their faith by sacrificing one's life. Completing this command would allow them to leave. Mishima understands and suggests that as the team leader, Mabuchi should make the sacrifice. Mabuchi reluctantly agrees and heads towards the altar. However, Shun intervenes, stating that it's not the leader's fault, and everyone had a say in coming here. Shun insists that there's no need for Mabuchi to sacrifice himself. Despite Shun's words, Mabuchi reaches the altar to fulfill the sacrifice. Suddenly, behind him, a red flame ignites. Mabuchi asks Shun what it means. Shun thinks as the large statue doesn't want any sacrifice. Then, with the help of two hunters, he climbs onto the altar, and 4 flames start burning there. Afterward, Shun asks Mabuchi if hunters from outside will come to rescue them. Mabuchi reveals that today is the 7th day, and after the 7th day, the gate of the dungeon completely opens, allowing monsters from the dungeon to enter the human world and attack. This event is referred to as a dungeon break. Shun wants to prevent this from happening, as his own family is outside, and Mabuchi mentions that no hunters will come to rescue them in a D-rank dungeon. The scene shifts, and we see Shun's younger sister who is visiting their sick mother in the hospital. Later, the scene changes again, and Shun calls everyone to the altar, explaining that the trial won't begin until everyone is on it. They gather on the altar, and the fires of the altar start burning. Blue flames also appear in a circle, and suddenly, the door opens. Mishima asks if they can now leave. However, a blue flame extinguishes, and all the statues start moving towards the hunters, causing fear among them. One by one, the blue flames go out, and the statues advances further. Then Shun thinks, and he realizes that as long as he keeps his eyes on the statues, they don't move. However, when he looks away, they start moving and advancing. Shun advises everyone not to close their eyes, or else the statues will come towards them. At this moment, a girl gets extremely scared, screams, and runs out through the gate. Her flame goes out, and everyone is shocked to see how she managed to leave without any harm. Mabuchi and Mishima question what just happened, and why the gate closed a little. Shun starts thinking and recalls all the commands and suspects that the door opening might be a trap. He wonders whether going out might result in harm, and if they should stay or follow the girl's example. A hunter, unable to bear the situation, apologizes, runs out, and his red flame extinguishes. Shun then tells everyone that if anyone leaves now, they won't be able to keep an eye on the statues, and they might be attacked. Mishima expresses surprise at Shun's help, mentioning that he never thought an E-rank hunter like Shun would assist so much. He thanks Shun for helping them survive and decides to leave, along with the last 3 people, saying he also has family and can't die here. Now only 3 red flames remain. Finally, Mabuchi understands that as long as a human is on the altar, the door won't close. He instructs Mizuki to take Shun and leave, and he'll stay behind. However, Mizuki has exhausted her magical power and cannot stand. Shun insists that Mabuchi should take Mizuki and leave him behind since he has a broken leg. Mizuki, unwilling to leave Shun, tells him to leave without her. Shun then recalls his promise of having dinner together and gives Mizuki his magical core as payment. Mabuchi takes Mizuki and leaves. Shun, now alone, is relieved that everyone else has gone. The statues start approaching him, and he finds a sword. He vows to at least defeat one monster. As the statues attack one by one, Shun is nearly unconscious, and one statue lifts him, ready to strike. Shun pleads not to die yet, thinking of his family and says he wants another chance to live. However, just as the statue is about to attack, all the blue flames extinguish. Shun sees a screen that announces the completion of the secret quest called Courage of the Weak. The screen states that he has the chance to become a player, and he has only 2 seconds left to accept this opportunity before dying. Shun accepts it and becomes a player.